And I saw Leda, the famous bedfellow of Tyndareus, who bare Tyndareus 2 sons, hardy of heart, Castor, tamer of steeds, and Polydeuces, the boxer. These twain yet live, but the quickening earth is over them. And even in the netherworld they have honor at the hand of Zeus, and they possess their life in turn, living one day and dying the next. And they have gotten worship even as the gods. And after her I beheld Iphimedeia, bedfellow of Eloeus, who said that she had lain with Poseidon, and she bare children twain. But short of life were they, godlike Otus and far-famed Ephialtes. Now these were the tallest men that earth, the grain-giver, ever reared, and far the goodliest after renowned Orion. At 9 seasons old they were of breadth 9 cubits, and 9 fathoms in height. They it was who threatened to raise even against the immortals in Olympus the din of stormy war. They strove to pile Ossa on Olympus, and on Ossa Pelion with the trembling forest leaves, that there might be a pathway to the sky. Yea, and they would have accomplished it, had they reached the full measure of manhood. But the son of Zeus, whom Leda of the fair locks bare, destroyed the twain, ere the down had bloomed beneath their temples, and darkened their chins with the blossom of youth. And Phaedra and Procris I saw, and fair Ariadne, the daughter of wizard Minos, whom Theseus on a time was bearing from Crete to the hill of the sacred Athens. Yet had he no joy of her, for Artemis slew her ere that in sea girt Dia, by reason of the witness of Dionysus. All right, folks, I'm going to do something a little bit different in today's episode. It's not that different. But I've done some research here because my commentary that I was going to go into started as kind of a lark, and then it reminded me of something. And then once it reminded me of something, I'm like, well, I should do research on that. And so this one page has sent me down quite a spiral. The initial observation I was going to share with you in kind of a pithy, maybe glib sort of way is that it really feels like Odysseus is just kind of flipping through those like mythology 101 books that you find at the like front of Barnes and Noble or any bookstore that you go to, just the kind of reference coffee table books or bathroom books that you might get. Just stop on a specific page and you might end up on Theseus, or stop on another page and you might end up on Oedipus. It's really just a who's who of Greek mythology here. But then it occurred to me that if he's going through this as if it's a reference guide, these myths had to exist before the Odyssey. And I think we knew that, but I wasn't quite sure to like what extent, what did people know? What did people not know? What is common knowledge to the people who would have been hearing the Odyssey for the first time? We've already talked about Heracles, and Oedipus in the past couple chapters. Here we're getting Phaedra and Ariadne and Theseus and Minos. I'm assuming if this is going to continue, we're only halfway through the chapter, that we've got even more to look forward to. So what is Homer calling upon in terms of common knowledge, and what did that look like before the Odyssey? As we talked a little bit about with Oedipus, he's not presenting the Oedipus that we currently know after it goes through a few more 100 years of transformation, that story. And so this is an interesting kind of snapshot of where were these myths. I mean, in the kind of compressed fashion in which they're being presented to us here, where were these myths, the understanding of these myths and their transformation when the Odyssey was written? Now, I realize I'm a little slow if you are a Patreon subscriber at getting my Theseus miniseries up and running. I have a few episodes out there, but as we will learn in that miniseries, Ariadne, who is saved by Theseus after the labyrinth and Minotaur stuff, has a whole journey and situation after she's abandoned by Theseus on this island. Here, Homer is saying that she is killed by Artemis because of Dionysus. What becomes popular after the Odyssey, as that myth continues to shift and change shape, is that Dionysus either rescues her from that island or marries her after Theseus abandons her. The fact that Homer isn't giving any explanation as to why Artemis is killing Ariadne because of Dionysus speaks to a shorthand that Homer would have had with audiences of the time, understanding what that myth is. I also was turned on to a couple of myths that I wasn't very familiar with, particularly these twins, which seems like a really exciting myth that I want to look into. The idea that they have immortality as twins, but they can only live one at a time. So as one goes back to the underworld, the other one can go up and live his life day and night. Is that how it is? And then the siblings that are giants almost, and they're building a road to the sky. This also is what kind of put me in mind of the almost children's reference book version of the myths. And wouldn't you know it, I just happen to have one right here. This is what I was going to build today's episode around. There are a lot of lending libraries in my neighborhood, and when I go out for walks, I like to peruse them. Every once in a while, I will take something. And I found this one. It's called Greek Myths and Legends, the Literary Heritage Series. This is from 1967. The illustrations in it are amazing. This particular copy comes from a high school from the 60s, one of the local high schools here in Madison, Wisconsin. It even has a 1967 paperclip and checkout card inside of it, which is really fun. But I don't want to run too over in today's episode. But since this entire chapter is kind of based on what seems like flipping through a reference book, I'm going to share with you in an upcoming episode something that's in here. So I'll just explain what this book is, and then we'll go into it deeper in a future episode. This is broken down by like a basic understanding of what these myths are, not in their entirety and not in their nuances, but in their broad strokes meant for a younger audience to first encounter them. And so it's built into 3 sections. You got stories of the gods, you got adventures of heroes, and then finally tales of the Trojan War. A lot of these are actually written by Robert Graves, who did a popular translation that I'm also currently reading through the Penguins Classic imprint. One is written by Edith Hamilton, who did a famous compilation of Greek myths. There's one even by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So, or 2 actually. An interesting compilation, but we have here under the section of Adventures of Heroes, the story of Odysseus and Polyphemus. And I'm not going to read it to you all because I don't think I'm able to. But what I will do at the end of it, actually, there's a little surprise at the end of each of these myths, and I'm gonna save that surprise for a future episode. Exciting stuff to look forward to. Is there anything I need to wrap up today's commentary on? I don't believe so. Nothing that I won't bring up again in a future episode. Okay. Yeah, that's all I got. Join me here tomorrow with a little bit more of Book 11. Until then, okay, goodbye. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.